Hello students, today we are going to see the concept of an exception handling. In last video we have seen the concept of a template from unit number 7. So in this video we are going to see what is meant by the exception, how to handle it, and some of the basic programs related with the exception handling from unit number 7. Okay, so first we will see what is meant by the exception. So one of the advantage of C++ over C is an exception handling. So in C, there is no concept of an exception handling. So what is exceptions? Exceptions are runtime anomalies or abnormal conditions that a program encounters during its execution. So exceptions are nothing but the runtime errors. So I will give you one example. That suppose you have formed one program for calculating factorial of a given number. Okay, so we have written the program for calculating factorial of a given number. So what is expected while running the program? User should enter the values such as 12, 30, likewise, or any perfect value. Okay, but suppose while running the program user has entered -1, -2, or any other wrong value. So what output will given by the program is that obviously your program will give any garbage value, or maybe your program will come out of the execution state. So it is not expected because your code is correct, and because as user has entered the wrong value, it should not come out of the running stage. So as a good programmer we should be ready for such errors. Okay, so handling of such errors are called as an exception handling. Why these errors are called as a runtime errors? Because such errors has come at the time of running stage only, not at the time of compiling stage. So there is a difference between the normal errors and the runtime error. So runtime errors are always called as an exceptions. So C++ exceptions is a response to an exceptional circumstances that arises while your program is in running stage. Okay, another example I will give you, that suppose you divide any number by 0, then whatever error or what if it will be there. So that error is called as a divide by 0 exception. So these are some of the examples for the exceptions. So we can say that whenever exception occurred during your program, as a good programmer we should handle such exceptions, and that all part we are going to see in this lecture. Next, why exception handling is required. So these are some of the advantages for why the exception handling is required. First one is the separation of error handling code from the normal code. In traditional error handling codes, there are always if-else conditions to handle the error. Because we are giving if for if some conditions and what should be programmed done, otherwise what should be the case. So in else normally we are writing the error code, or we are writing the exceptional conditions. These conditions and the code to handle errors get mixed up with the normal flows. This makes code less readable and maintainable. So in exception handling or in C++, we are having try and catch blocks. So as like if else, we are having try and catch blocks, and with the try and catch block the code for the error handling becomes separate from the normal flow. The second advantage is functions or the methods can handle any exception they choose. A function can throw many exceptions, but it may choose to handle some of them. Okay, so in case of the C, suppose we have written the function and it may throw many exceptions or many errors, but it will choose only some of them to handle it. The other exceptions which are thrown but not caught can be handled by the caller. So if the caller chooses not to catch them, then the exceptions are handled by caller or of the caller. Okay, so in C++, a function can specify the exceptions that it throws using the throw keyword. The caller of this function must handle the exception in the same way. So in C++, we are having one keyword as a throw, which can throw number of exceptions which user has to enter. Okay, then third advantage is grouping of error types. In C++, both basic types and objects can be thrown as an exception. We can create a hierarchy of exception object, group exception in namespace or classes, categorize them according to the type. Exceptions provide a way to transport control from one part of a program to another program. Okay, in C++ for exception handling, there are three main keywords. First one is try, then second one is throw, and third one is the catch. Okay, so first we will see the definitions of these three. Try, first we will see what is mean by the try. A try block identifies a block of code for which particular exceptions will be activated. It is followed by one or more catch blocks. So in short we can say try is nothing but a program statements that you want to monitor for exceptions are contained in a try block. So while running the program, suppose you whatever you want to monitor, this what should happen for the particular statement, then such statements we should include in a try block. The second keyword is the throw. Okay, so a program throws an exception when a program shows up. So throw is nothing but if any exception occurs in a try block, it is thrown by using throw keyword. Okay, and the third keyword is nothing but the catch. So a program catches an exception with the exception handler at the place in a program where you want to handle the program. The catch keyword indicates the catching of an exception. So catch is nothing but exception which are occurred during the try is caught using the catch block and it is processed by the catch block. Now we will see one by one every keyword in detail. So first is what is mean by the throwing mechanism. What is mean by the throw? So exception can be thrown anywhere within the code block using the throw statement. The operand of a throw statement determines a type of exception and can be any expression, and the type of the result of the expression determines the type of exception throw. So at the time of example you will understood what is meant by the throw and how this throwing mechanism is get encountered. Okay, so following is an example for throwing an exception for divide by zero condition when the divide by zero condition occurs. So you just see here there is one condition given. If b is equals to 0, we have passed two variables as an integer a and integer b. So what is the condition? If b is equals to 0, then throw divide by 0 exception, and out of if there is a written a divided by b. So this condition when the throw will get occurred is that if user has entered 0 value for the b, only that time divide by 0 condition will get occurred on your output screen. But if user has entered the correct values for a as well as b, then obviously your program will give the correct output. So such with the help of this throw keyword we can throw the exception. So divide by 0 condition is the runtime error which will occur for this particular code. So this is nothing but the throwing mechanism. Then second one is the catching mechanism. So a catch block following the try block catches any exception. You can specify what type of exception you want to catch, and this is determined by the exception declaration that appears in parentheses following the catch keyword. Okay, so whenever we are writing the try block, at that time it should have a catch block always. So we can say that try will throw any error, any runtime error or any exception, and that should be handled by the catch block only. Try and catch, these are the two blocks, or these comes within a block, and within that block is nothing but the parenthesis, and within that block we should write our code. Okay, so the syntax for this is given. Then try, first one is the try, then we should write the code over here, and then next catch, and in bracket exception name and one variable is given. So in catch block we have to mention what exception it is or it should handle. For example, in earlier example we have seen divide by zero exception, so that we have to mention over here. Okay, catch in bracket divide by zero exception, then name of the variable is e or any other variable, and then in bracket what the particular code or what the exception should be caught in the way that should be written in a catch block, right? So if suppose you don't know the name of the exception that is going to be handled by the catch block, then we can only mention catch in bracket only exception that is sufficient and name of the variable. It is not compulsory that you should always enter a proper exception name while running the program. Just remember that try and catch, they should come together always in a program. So this example is to handle one exception. Suppose you want to specify that a catch block should handle any type of exception that is thrown in a try block. You must put it in an ellipse. Suppose that in earlier example catch exception e. This example is related to it is to handle only one type of exception, but suppose in your program there are multiple exceptions are available and you want to handle all that exceptions. So at that time you can give or you can put an ellipsis in the bracket so that it will be considered as a multiple exceptions. So between the ellipsis will be given between the parentheses enclosing the exception declared as follows. So the syntax for this is try, then in catch you can see here 3 dots are given. These 3 dots are nothing but this catch block is handling multiple exceptions. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. So instead of specifying a specific exception for every program or for every try block, we can mention as a ellipsis. So this catch block will handle all type of exception or multiple exception. Likewise we can mention multiple catch within a single program, or instead of multiple catch we can give catch and the ellipsis within a parenthesis, so that it will get automatically considered as a multiple catch statement. So this is nothing but the catching mechanism. Now let's see a simple program for the exception. Okay, so see what is the program here. So hash include iostream. Just a minute. So while doing the program, if you are doing the program in Turbo C++, then it will not support you the exceptions, because it will give you the error for the same programs that undefined symbol try, defined symbol throw. Likewise errors will that may come. So for the exception handling, you have to use the open source compiler as or you can use the open source compiler as a dev C++. Okay, so what is the program? Just to see. So I have included one library as a hash include iostream, then using namespace std, then main. In main I have first entered one message as a cout welcome, then I have taken a try block. So try, in try block what I have written is throw 10 and cout try, it is an try block. That message I have written. Then I have taken catch. In catch I have written as a integer e. So what is the meaning of this is what I have thrown the value as a 10, right? And 10 is nothing but it is an integer value. So what I have mentioned in the catch is that it should handle the exceptions related with the all integer values, because we have thrown 10 as an integer. So integer e, it will handle all the exceptions related with the integer values. Then in catch block I have mentioned as a cout thrown value is that and output is e. So see out catch block. Okay, after the catch block I have just mentioned one message as at the end. Now see what is the what will be the output. So when it the compiler will enter into the try block, it will throw 10, but you can see here in your output you will not get the message as a try block, see out try block, whatever we have mentioned. So that message will not come at in your output. The reason is that in try, if once you will throw any condition, after that condition nothing will get executed by the compiler. So in try, as soon as it enters into to the try block, there is an condition that throw 10. So after throwing 10, it will not execute anything in a try block. Okay, so remember, once any condition is thrown in a try block, then after that condition nothing will be thrown or nothing will be executed by the try block. Then next is the catch integer e. So in output you will get as thrown value e, and the value of e will be the 10. So in output you will get as a thrown value 10. So then it will give as a catch block and at the end. So this is the simple program to handle exception handling. Okay, so try, in that throw 10 we have given. So once it will enter in a try block, then it will throw the value integer value as a 10. After that it will not execute anything within a try block. In catch we have entered as an integer e, as it has to handle the errors related with the integer value. Then we have mentioned as a C out thrown value e. So this will give the value which we have thrown, that is nothing but the 10, and your program will get complete. So this is a simple program for the exception handling. So you can see here this is a simple program for exception handling. Okay, so you can see here try and catch block we have mentioned. So try and catch always comes together. Let's see the second example for multiple throw values. Okay, how in a single program we can use multiple throw. So in earlier program we have mentioned only one throw, that is throw 10. So in this program I have used a multiple throw statement. So the program is same. What is the condition given is integer I is equals to 3, and in try block I have mentioned the condition as if I is equals to 1, then throw one value. Then second condition is if I is equals to 2, throw 2. Then if I is equals to 3, throw 3. Okay, so these are the multiple throw statements. In catch we have taken as again integer e, because all these values are the integer value, and we have mentioned C out thrown value is e. So at the time of running the program, in output you will get the value for the e as 3, because the condition will get satisfied, or it will get if I is equals to 3, then throw value as a 3. So this condition will get successfully executed, and at the time of running on output you will get the value for the exception as a 3. So this is nothing but the multiple throw example. Within a single program we can use multiple throws as like this. Then second, the next example is we can use within a single program we can use multiple catch statement. So in earlier PPTs I have shown you the syntax for this. So the same example I have taken, that is nothing but if I is equals to 3, then if I is equals to 1, then throw 1, I is equals to 2, throw 2, and so on. So in bracket I have mentioned as a catch, then 3 dots I have mentioned. So the meaning of this is nothing but this program will contain or it will handle multiple catch statement. Now for which conditions we require this multiple catch statement is that, suppose I have one condition that if suppose if condition is like if I is equals to 1, throw 1. In second, if suppose I have mentioned that if I is equals to 2, then throw some string I have given, that is nothing but the if I is equals to 2, then throw hello. This will be the my condition. So what is this, what will be the case for this try block is containing the multiple data types, that is nothing but the integer as well as the character values. So if we have not written like dot 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 in case of the catch, then it will give you the error. That is nothing but because your program or your try block is containing multiple data type conditions. So in catch block, or we have to mention the separate catch block for integer as well as the character. So instead of specifying the multiple or a different catch block for every data type, what we can do, we can just mention catch in bracket dot dot dot. So this catch will handle all type of data types which we have thrown within a try block. So that is the use of the multiple catch. Or we can write like catch in bracket exception E, then the second catch block we can write that catch then exception E1. Likewise, we can also mention the multiple catch within a single program, but it will be better that we just mention catch and in bracket 3 dots, so that it will handle all type of exceptions which we have entered within the try block. So these are some of the examples for handling the exceptions. So we have seen the 3 examples. First one is the simple program, then second for the multiple throws, and third one is the multiple catch. So this is all about the exception handling. Okay, thank you.